but I would run from, didn't bother me to just get my equity card and do that and then run and scoop ice cream at on Thompson Street or Temp. So I just felt like it was part of my life and who I was, and really just pursued anything I could.
Welcome to the Artist Work Ethic Podcast. I'm Mike Pelak. I'm an actor, screenwriter, and filmmaker, and in this podcast, I talk to people from across the arts about their process, habits, and work ethic. You can find me on Instagram at the Artists Work Ethic Podcast, and I'd love to hear from you at the Artists Work Ethic Podcast at gmail.com. Today on the show is Terry Walters. Terry is an actor who's starred in films such as Crimes and Misdemeanors, La La Land, and Babylon. Her television credits include Euphoria, All Rise, Undone, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Desperate Housewives, Santa Clarita Diet, and a ton more. Terry has also appeared in national commercials, stars in FaceTiming with Mommy. She recently completed filming a recurring role for the show American Classic on MGM+, acting alongside Kevin Kline, Laura Linney, and John Tenney. This episode was super fun to record. La La Land is another one of my favorite movies, and her character always stuck out to me. Hope you enjoy this interview as much as I did. Terry, thank you for coming on with me today.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
So, pursuing a career in acting or any of the arts takes a lot of talent, a little bit of delusion, and a lot of perseverance and drive. Where have you found your drive that has taken you from, a career starting in the theater in Queens or in the city up through, TV and film that you're doing today?
I haven't found it. I think it found me. I literally was born with wanting to perform and sing. I used to sing more than just do anything, honestly. I had to be in the kindergarten talent show to sing Puff the Magic Dragon. And it just felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And of course, as I got older, I just kept pursuing it more and more. I'm in camp. I even, from kindergarten on, I just would needed to do Lola and Damn Yankees. And we had this I got to be Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz in a New York elementary school production where I just thought I'd made it by then. I mean, when the New York Post and the Daily News came to interview me, I responded as a fifth grader saying, yes, I've always wanted to be an actress. Even when I told the Tin Man we would get him some courage and messed it up, it didn't matter to me. I just loved being on stage. I learned improv really young. One time I remember I literally said to the Tin Man, and we'll take you to the wizard to get you some courage. And the scarecrow went, you're getting me a brain and him a heart. I went, yeah, you know what? Forget it. We'll get you a heart. We'll get the lion some courage. I was born with this desire and passion. I loved entertaining, making people laugh, smile, cry, whatever, just feeling like I was reaching people as I was at a very young age. And then I moved to New York. Everybody in my family tried to encourage me to go to an acting college. And I was just like, no, I want to go to New York and pound the pavement. I think my very first job was in Greenwich Village. Angela and the Christmas Mouse. I was the only human in the play. And I remember when the set fell on my head, the flag just went. But I would run from, didn't bother me to just get my equity card and do that and then run and scoop ice cream at on Thompson Street or Temp. So I just felt like it was part of my life and who I was, and really just pursued anything I could and did a lot of theater. loved doing theater at West Bank Cafe and Alice's Fourth Floor, which I don't even think is there anymore. I did this play with Olympia Dukakis as my mom, and it was an original play called Better Living, and Rob Morrow played my boyfriend, and then I did his first film, which went to Sundance, called The Silent Alarm. But all along the way, I just did what I had to do. I would run from a soap opera loving to hostessing at night at a restaurant in Upper West Side. And I never thought anything different, like this wasn't going to happen. I didn't know, I had no aspirations to be like, oh my God, I have to do this film or that film. I just knew that I wanted to do good work. And then I got married very young and had a child right away. And that kind of changed a lot for me. And none of it was conscious, but the kind of love that I felt being a mom was a huge surprise to me. And so I would travel on subways and take my firstborn to commercial auditions, which I then found. I remember the first commercial agent that I went to said, "You're not P&G enough." And I'm like, "What is that?" And then somebody did take me on, and I would go with my son to commercial auditions and hold him and be like, "Can you hold him while I go in?" And one time the casting director said, "You know what? It was a Chase credit card commercial. We're still looking for a newborn. Why don't you come in with him?" And we both booked it. So that was great. And I realized that commercials were, oh, I can do this with my child because I'm not working at night to do a play, and I can make extra money, and this is great. And then I had a lot of friends migrate to LA, and I went to visit, and I thought, oh, maybe I should do television and film, and give that a shot because I won't need to be doing 8 shows a week at night and not be with my son. So I did that. I moved across the country. And at first I was back and forth, and that was very difficult with a toddler and my husband at the time. And then I became a single mom. I just found that I did a lot of guest star stuff, which was great. It was a couple of days of work, and I really liked being on set and learning and in person auditions. I missed them so much. But I mean, I had aspirations, of course, to do more than a guest star. Would be like, oh wow, this would be so fun to be on a show on a regular basis and build a character and that kind of thing. But it wasn't in the cards for me at that time because I felt as though, I don't know, it just, things happened, and I would fall asleep with sides on my face and go in for a pilot audition the next day and not be as prepared as the women in the room who were. And it definitely shook me, like, whoa, I can't. I remember specifically walking into a room that was so in my favor, and I had like 11 pages of sides, and they all fell on the floor and were out of order, and I just fell apart. And I was like, darn, that was not good. And then guest stars seemed easier to me, like, oh, just learn, just do it for a couple of days and be out. But that was never satisfying artistically. But then again, I had my family. Long story short, I fell in love with somebody, and we had another child just as things were starting to take off for me again. But I felt like that it's okay, I can handle it. And you know what? I can handle it, but I get split. A lot of that, took precedence in my life, and not in the moment, but in retrospect, looking back, I go, oh, well, you really wanted to go to his baseball game, and you just didn't want to go to that audition because you had to go see one son in a play and another son pitching in an MVP situation. So that sort of happened.
I've sort of had a little bit of that similar thing where I had mentioned to you I love to act. I had gone to LA 20 plus years ago, was there for a while, came back, sort of career shifted, had two boys. And as much as I love them, when they're super small, it's
Mm-hmm.
difficult to, you get spread too thin between all these different things. And now that they're a little bit older, they're still pretty young, but they're a little bit older to where they're not so all encompassing. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to bring acting back into my life again and
Mm-hmm.
have been auditioning, booked something
Yay.
that shot last week, and it's been wonderful. So I understand, what you're saying about,
Yeah.
you kind of get in and out a little bit.
And not all people are like that. I have female friends who did it and they're fantastic and they've had beautiful careers and their kids are awesome. For me, it just changed things up a bit. And I never kept my foot out of the door. I mean, I've worked along the way, whether it was, a little independent movie or something that I could actually handle, or ton of national commercials at one point in my life, which I thank God for because it kept me in my insurance and a day here, a day there, and that was just a wonderful. That's when commercials were like helpful
Hmm.
financially in a way that I was like, oh, thank you. From children's Tylenol to the Kraft macaroni and cheese. Anyway, that was an awesome, awesome time. And guest starring roles were just life saving for me. So it kept me feeling like I did keep my toe in the door. Plus, I would always be in a class. And then I had to ask myself, because the desire never went away. It just was like, you have to make a choice. You can do this or this. For some reason, I couldn't give both as much as I wanted. And I chose my family in unconsciously. Don't tell them that. They drew me towards them, but I would do plays and readings, and constantly acting classes. And but one day I did ask myself, you keep saying you want to do the business so badly. Well, what is it that you want to say? Why is it so powerful? So I started writing, and I have two projects. One is a movie that is going to be produced by Pollock Films. That I'll be starring in, and I co-wrote it with a wonderful writer director. I was in his movie Adam, which was at Sundance, and he won awards for that. So that, and then along the way, like you had asked me earlier about, did I ever think that there was a moment that, oh, this is it, the domino. And
Yeah.
yeah, before I had my first son, I did a Woody Allen film, and we shot for 6 months. That is on some cutting room floor, or maybe already recycled, of a character that was in a different storyline, where Mia Farrow's character was in a nursing home as a nurse instead of a TV producer, and then they called me back for the to come do the same thing. I played Woody Allen's sound girl as he's documenting in Crimes and Misdemeanors, and then we had so much fun and so much stuff, but that was all gone. And then they came back in the spring and rewrote the film and her character. And I thought, oh, this is going to be helpful for me. At the time, I don't even think I had an agent. I barely had a credit on the film, and then I was pregnant with my first child. But I'm very an in the moment person. So as much as I think about what I would love ideally for myself, I really am very, very present in the moment. So that kind of goes away.
After something like La La Land, did your career, how, did anything
Okay.
change in your career? Did it
I
get neutral or better, or did how did that affect you?
Okay, so here's the trajectory. And this is very personal, but I shall reveal it. When I got La La Land, I was so ecstatic because Damien Chazelle is probably the most wonderful, humble, grateful, genius writer director. God, I got to work with some amazing directors. Sam Levinson on Euphoria, terrific, and that cast and Zendaya is just, ugh. But Damien, and then I met his now wife, who we created a whole FaceTiming with Mommy with. So we did FaceTiming with Mommy before La La Land came out. We met on the set. Olivia created this genius back and forth Mommy thing way ahead of her time. We did, I want to say, 40 something episodes, and we would do them in my living room and her living room. Anyway, long story short, while we were shooting that, it, I found out I had breast cancer. And so we worked that into the FaceTiming storyline. Now, all our fans who were a ton on FaceTime were like, oh no, is this for real? And I didn't ever want to reveal that it was real. Then La La Land came out, and Damien was aware, and I was undergoing major, like, chemotherapy, like a ton of stuff. And yes, a lot of calls came in while I was doing La La Land when it came out, and I was unable to do them because I was undergoing treatment, which I pretty much kept quiet. Then, as I was finally coming back, and my kids were older, one was even empty nested. This is 10 years ago, then almost 10 years ago, because it came out in 2016. By the way, Damien was amazing, and I couldn't network, I couldn't go to any of the premiere, I couldn't do anything for that, which was so sad and hard. But thank God I'm okay. Then what happened was I was recovered, and I did, what was it? Oh my God, I did Euphoria, and then I did another really good TV, All Rise. Thank you. Nice guest role on Get All Rise. And I started to get back in, and then COVID. And so COVID happened for 4 years. Now, during COVID, I was lucky enough to do Babylon. And then I did this movie called Goldmine, which is now out. I did a movie called My Dead Dad. So I actually worked during COVID, and I did a commercial, Kisqali, on, ironically enough, which is about, it's a cancer medication that really just, I started working a lot even during COVID. I did Undone during COVID. After COVID came the strike. So it's been a rough one. It's been a bunch of years of like, wait, what's happening? And then no in the room auditions, which I get it. I so understand self tapes, but I'm way better in person if you can connect and tell me what you need or want, because that's where I feel one of my gifts is being able to be a chameleon and give you what you need. Theater is my training, so that's where everything was. And now, last year, I got American Classic, which I am beyond, beyond, beyond grateful for. You must watch it. That took me from March because of going into New York and meeting everybody and reading and figuring out what role, and because they had me in mind for two, and doing that, which was just heaven. Oh my God, what a cast, what a crew, what writers. It was I was a pig in shit, let's put it that way. And I have a great little role. I'll be in episode 6, 7, and 8. I was originally in episode 1, at the very end of it, and it got cut, it got changed, which is, I completely understand. I'm really proud of being a part of this, and I think it's so needed. I'm so exhausted from trauma TV, and feel like this is a nice gem of a thing that we shot. I heard in your hometown, Maplewood.
Yes. Yeah. And you had mentioned that you like going to the movies in the movie theaters. I don't know if you remember seeing the old Maplewood movie theater that's right downtown there. And
Yes.
they just announced just recently that someone bought it, a company bought it, and they're going to renovate it and reopen it. So we'll have
Fantastic.
that kind of small town movie theater opening again, which I'm very
You
excited
know,
about.
you have got to watch American Classic then, because I mean, we used the facade of that movie theater, and then I
Hmm.
think we used the chairs, but I don't want to give away the secret, the things if you haven't seen it, but it'll just put a smile on your face. And I gotta say, I have gotten to I as much as you we're talking about fits and starts and whatever. Anytime I'm on a set, I've been lucky enough to be with phenomenal people like Emma Stone. Hello, she's just terrific, and Ryan Gosling and Damien, like I said, and Olivia and Euphoria. What a beautiful cast of young people, and Sam Levinson was so super cool. The same thing with Woody Allen when I was working with him. This was before everything I knew happened, but that Alan Alda was amazing, and I just feel like American Classic. I can't even the cast. I think you know who it is. It's Kevin Kline, Laura Linney,
Yeah.
Jessica Heck, Tony Shalhoub, Mark Linn-Baker. Just it goes Aaron Tveit, Stephen Spinella, Ajay, and Len Cariou. It's like hello, you're just if my heart is just so happy when I'm getting to play with these people.
Hall of
And
Famers, I would say.
yeah, I really just hope, with all the streaming services and so much, it's really hard to find something. But if you can watch this gem, I know you have to join MGM Plus, but just think you'd spend $8 on two cappuccinos. And if you were actually going to the movies, you'd spend way more, and it's way worth your while. Yes, I cut you off about going to the movies. I actually go to the movies to see the movies because that have come out all year. I mean, I've seen them in the movie theaters because there's nothing like a shared audience reaction. And that's why I love theater so much, because in the moment it's so alive and giving and energizing, and it's ways I think we really, really need to get back to.
I agree. I agree. What's a goal that you still want to accomplish in your career?
Oh, I can tell you right that. I know that. I want to be a pioneer for older women
Okay.
to never ever give up, and know that in whatever field you're in, once you've raised your family, and if you've given up your career goals for your family, you can reignite them. Or if you've never had a family and you spent your life doing your career, then you can, and you want to stop your career and go out and do the world. It's never too late for any of that, especially to spread the women sensibility of, I don't know, I was brought up and you can bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan. I could not do that. That was my mantra that I heard as a kid growing up. That was really hard for me. So if you're one of those women who try, didn't do both, well, you can always do that. I'm not saying you can have children after a certain age, and don't, because it's exhausting. No, I'm just kidding. Wow. I'm a grandma now, and trust me, I'm like, okay, wow, now I get why you're told to do this when you're young. But I just feel like women need to, we need to lift each other up and know that our worth comes with age and energy and practice, and because I don't know. I think we have so much to offer that gets squashed or put down, or we get thrown away because we have wrinkles, or we get like, oh, whatever. And I want to be an example for younger women to look forward to something, and men too, to support that. But I'm obviously a female, so that's where I feel like I can be a good help. So I'm writing a TV series about that. That's great. And I'm writing the movie that I wrote is that's going to be produced focuses on sisters who learn something as they're way older, but it actually helps move and change them.
So
So
we
wherever that falls, if it's, I think it's going to be through my art,
Okay.
Um,
So we talked about American Classic a little bit, but anything else that you want to plug or talk about before we go?
yes, my movie that I wrote called The In Between, that's going to be produced by Pollock Films. Sometime this, we're getting ready to get into pre-production for that. This TV series I wrote that I might have to do independently because my partner and I who wrote it, she's an actress friend of mine. We met in prenatal yoga, and for
Wow.
years we've been saying, "Oh, we should write about being a mom with a newborn." Every year we were at stages of writing. Oh, we should write about the teenage years. Oh, we should write. And finally, we both at the time, our kids are the same age. One of them, my younger one, and we're like, okay, we can really write now, and we did, and we wrote this, I think, terrific pilot that we have to get out there to do. And I know that everything's so changing, and it's difficult, but I believe we'll break through somehow. And American Classic, you have to watch it. It's like 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's hard to get people to check into a new streamer. So, but I recommend doing it so that MGM picks it up for another season and another season, because it's good stuff. And
I do think that the first episode is available on Amazon Prime without needing an MGM subscription, so you can
that's
kind of dip into it too to start with.
that's true. So definitely do that, and then go the distance, because this TV show takes turns and deepens and gets better and better and better as it goes along. And I just think it's what the world needs now. Oh, they wrote a song called that, right? It's just worth seeing these people and what they're going through. And to me, it's literally a microcosm of what's happening in our world right now. I don't want to give it away, but what the town is going through versus what this specific family is going through, I, it's putting something good out into the world, which I think we could all use right now.
I agree. Well, Terry, thank you for talking with me today.
My pleasure. So my pleasure. Mike, great to meet you. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe if you aren't already, and come give me a like on Instagram at The Artist's Work Ethic Podcast.